Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul, and we are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. Fact is that there's a lot of negative talk in the world, uh, and so we are here to just really refute some of those negative messages and replace them with amazing and beautiful and positive messages as we go throughout our day. So, we are going to be going through my I Am deck. Now, this deck is full of amazing, beautiful, positive affirmations, things that we can say about ourselves. The fact is that this entire world was created with the power of sound, through the power of words, and so we are going to use those words as a way to benefit ourselves this morning. So, let's just get started by pulling one right off the top. We're going to say that today I am inspired. I am inspired. I rise into my own strength and creativity. So I am inspired. I rise into my own strength and creativity. Are you inspired? You are inspired. You rise into your own strength and creativity. So it's one thing to hear me say those words. It's another thing to repeat them yourself out loud, which is exactly why we do that. But now I'm going to write that down in the chat, and that's going to be just another way of really bringing that feeling into the world, that feeling of inspiration, that feeling of creativity. So I have written that down into the comments, and I encourage you to do the same exact thing. It's one thing to hear me say it, but when you write it down, it goes from an ephemeral thought process inside of our heads into something that is real, something that is extant in this reality. So I'd like to see those comments coming in about how inspired that you are this morning. And as you are inspired to write that stuff down, I'd like you to find my comment and affirm it for me. Because when we affirm things for other people, it allows us to then see that stuff in ourselves. Inspiration is a really funny thing. I remember talking with a very well-known artist over on the island of Maui back when I sold art, and he was talking about the secret of inspiration. And I said, "So how is it that you make all this beautiful art? Do you get inspired? Like how do you set yourself up for success?" And one of the things he said, so you can't control when inspiration comes, but you can definitely control how we use inspiration when it comes. And so he said the very first thing is make art even when you're not inspired. Do stuff even when you're not inspired to do it, because inspiration comes from doing things. It is in the doing that we get to be inspired um, to to really make excellent and beautiful stuff. The other thing he said was really interesting. He said always have your workspace set up. He said always he says I always have my artist space set up, because when it comes time to be inspired, he doesn't want to be setting up his space. He doesn't want to be setting up his workspace. So he gave me those two pieces of advice. He said just always be creating, and as you're creating, inspiration will just hit and you'll already be creating. And then he also said keep your space set up for the creation. And so that's something that I've really taken to heart, and something that I believe that we can very much get some use out of by simply creating, by simply doing every day, by doing the things that we like to do every day. Inspiration will hit, and all of a sudden we'll have a masterpiece on our hands. And I've noticed that it's that way with a lot of things. So I am inspired today. Today I am inspired to get up and do this. And sometimes I get up and do this and I think it's amazing. And sometimes I get up and do this and I don't think it's amazing. Sometimes I get up and do this and it turns out to be unexpectedly super awesome. But in the end, it's the discipline of getting up and doing it that creates the inspiration, that creates the unintended awesome positive results. And so let's make sure that our spaces today are set up to do the things that inspire us, so that we are able and have a space and have a place to do the stuff that really inspires us, that makes life worth living for us. So thank you guys so very much. One of the things that inspires me is just watching those comments come on down. Watching the people actually engage with and enjoy the message that I have every morning. So thank you so very much for being here. If you need to have a specific affirmation, I have them archived on my YouTube channel, which is linked in the video description, and it's just a lot better organized. So I encourage you guys to go on over there. Today, I am inspired to continue moving forward on things that are really important to me, and I am encouraged when I see all the people who tell me that they're inspired by these messages. I'll talk to you guys later. Aloha from paradise.